I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing.
The Indiana Fever versus Las Vegas Aces isn't just a playoff series. It's a heist unfolding on national TV. Indiana shocked everyone by stealing Game 1 in Vegas. But after that, the script flipped. The Aces weren't just playing basketball. They had referees in their corner. With whistles so lopsided the games barely resembled competition. Stephanie White refused to stay silent. In one of her most emotional post-game interviews ever, she demanded a league-wide investigation into WNBA officiating. Fans saw it in GameBridge. Social media saw it online, and the box score confirmed it. Vegas wasn't winning. They were being gifted victories. Sadly, those phantom whistles overshadowed the heart, grit, and resilience Indiana showed every single night.
Disappointing, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow that to consume us, right? Like, we've got to be able to play through that. We've got to be able to control the things that we can control.
Let's be real. This wasn't Indiana's first time facing two opponents. The team on the floor and the refs with whistles. From the start, the favoritism was obvious. Game 1 set the tone. Vegas struggled to score, so they leaned on free throws to stay alive. Meanwhile, Indiana's tough but clean defense magically turned into foul trouble whenever it suited the refs. The Aces could throw elbows with no call, while the Fever were whistled for simply breathing too close. This wasn't subtle. It was blatant.
Steph, why don't you think you were able to find any flow? And when that was the case, what are you trying to do to jumpstart things, maybe on the defense?
Well, it's hard for us to find flow when there's a foul call every 10 seconds. I mean, it just really is. And when they're at the free throw line, we can't get up and down the floor. And that's a challenge. They were much more aggressive and physical defensively. We didn't counter that with our off-ball actions or with our back cuts. So they took us out of our comfort zone. I mean, offense is about rhythm. It's about timing. It's about spacing. We allowed them to do that, and they kept us from doing it.
By Game 2, the bias was undeniable. Whistles didn't just appear. They controlled the pace, ripping Indiana out of rhythm again and again. By Game 3, it became a wall the Fever simply couldn't climb. The moment that defined it came in the third quarter. Aaliyah Boston challenged a foul call on Jackie Young. Stephanie White immediately signaled for review. The bench was ready. Fans braced for it. But refs flat out ignored her request. Seconds later, Chelsea Gray drilled a three, flipping momentum and burying Indiana's hope.
A'ja Wilson is 1 for 12 as a foul is called on Boston. And that will be number 2 on Aaliyah Boston.
You saw Indiana picking up full court pressure defensively. And if you're Aaliyah Boston, that's the one spot on the floor you do not want to get a foul call.
And Stephanie White is trying to challenge it and did not call the timeout.
Flipping momentum and burying Indiana's hope. Clip 4. What was once a hard-earned Fever lead was stolen. Not by Vegas's execution, but by a call the refs refused to review. GameBridge Arena erupted, cheers turning into boos and outrage. Within minutes, clips of the play spread online, with fans and analysts calling it the smoking gun of rigging. And the breakdowns revealed more than a single missed call. They showed a pattern of elbows, flops, and cheap shots by Vegas that officials pretended not to see.
2-minute recap from last night. So A'ja Wilson pushes Howard in the back. Howard pushes her in the back. It's a foul on Howard. Look at this. Aaliyah Boston gets totally fouled by Nalissa Smith. Like, it's obvious, but no call. And then A'ja Wilson gets the call for not half as much. And then Nalissa Smith gets the call for not even getting touched. Here's a replay just to prove it to you. Yep, didn't get touched.
That's when it stopped looking like oversight and started looking like an agenda. Watch the tape. Wilson bulldozes Boston like a fullback, and nothing gets called. Indiana, defenders get tossed to the floor. Still silence. But if the Fever so much as graze a jersey, whistle. It wasn't Vegas outclassing Indiana. It was refs feeding them lifelines until the scoreboard tilted.
follow it up by Lexie Hull getting called for the foul?
I thought it was egregious, honestly. I mean, I thought it was obvious. I felt like AB got one, had one going to the rim. They're in rotation. And then Lexie's, I felt like equally, we talk about, coming into the path, and it was an offensive player veering into the defensive player's path.
But here's where Indiana proved special. Most teams would have folded, not the Fever. And leading that defiance was Lexie Hull. Think about it. How often does a role player, battling injury, nearly flip the script of an entire playoff game? That's exactly what Hull did. Coming off a painful back injury, she was questionable every night. Her warm-ups looked stiff, her movement shaky. Yet instead of being a placeholder, Hull turned the court into her stage of pure resilience.
Lexie, you have drawn the most offensive foul in the W this year, including the playoff. How are you able to do that?
I'm just trying to defend as hard as I can, and there's only certain screens you're allowed to set, so just trying to trail them, and that's all I can really say.
16 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, a steal, while shooting 6-4, 10 from the floor, including 3 massive threes. Each triple felt like oxygen, reviving Indiana whenever Vegas tried to bury them. Those shots tied her for a Fever playoff record, 8 total in just 2 games. And her 16 points? A career high, delivered through pain and chaos.
Boston has the mismatch on Lloyd. Help comes. Kick out. Hull will fire. And hit from 3. Last 2 positions inside from Indiana. Smith tied up by Hull. And a jump ball between Smith and Hull.
But Hull's greatness wasn't just in the numbers. It was in how she got them. Every possession was a war. Loose balls became collisions. Rebounds became wrestling matches. She grimaced in pain, but never backed down. She boxed out bigger players, dug to the floor, and still knocked down threes. Every play wasn't just worth points. It breathed life back into Indiana when the refs tried to drain it away.
On the left side of the floor, just a clear out, letting Jackie Young go to work.
Jackie Young with 17 points. Boston to the corner. Hull, catch, fire, and hit. Correct call. Evans dishes. Ray whips a pass inside. What a denial from Lexie Hull.
The Hull able to save the play.
12-point game, a little under 2.5 to go. Hull hits Indiana's first field goal of the quarter.
And that's why fans rally behind her. Gamebridge knew what they were watching. A warrior giving everything through pain because her team needed her. Each rebound, each shot reignited the crowd. Even when whistles tried to kill the energy, Hull's fight was the heartbeat of Indiana's resistance.
Back to Hull, wide open 3 is good.
The floor that she wants, doesn't it?
It does. Mitchell, connect. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell, one more. You bet.
But that's what made it sting. On the same night, Hull delivered the best playoff performance of her career. The conversation wasn't about her. It wasn't about her courage or her 16 points. It was about referees tilting the game. The spotlight that should have celebrated her resilience was stolen by controversy. And maybe that's the perfect metaphor for the Fever. Underestimated underdogs, shoved aside, yet still standing tall.
Offensive foul, practically a football check, and the Aces score. So now the Aces cut it to 2, and then A'ja Wilson sets an illegal screen, and they tied things up. And then Lexie Hull gets called for a foul for doing nothing when they just had 2 illegal screens they didn't call. All right, so this is fair. Same thing happens on the other side, but they don't call a foul for Kelsey Mitchell. So Aaliyah Boston gets called for this foul for getting her arm grabbed, but Stephanie White can't challenge. They won't let her. That's the second time this game they didn't let her have her challenge. And then A'ja Wilson starts acting like a big baby.
Picture this. The league's MVP going nearly 3 quarters without a single basket. That was A'ja Wilson in Game 3. She hit an opening 3, but then disappeared. By halftime, she was 1 for 11. She limped to just 13 points on 20 shots. Dreadful for any WNBA starter, let alone the best player in the league. Instead of dominating inside, she floated to perimeter, tossing up contested jumpers, rattled by Boston's relentless defense.
And then here we go. She gets a foul call with a 3-point game for, I don't know why they called that foul, but it's the third quarter and they want them to win. So here we go. Ace is up by 3. They call another foul for A'ja Wilson that isn't a foul. All right, so then they call another foul on the Fever that isn't a foul. And then to end the game after it's out of control because the Fever had a 6-point lead, but they kept calling fouls, another foul for A'ja Wilson that's not a foul. Ball don't lie, A'ja missed 11 shots in a row during this game.
And here's the kicker. Vegas didn't even need Wilson. That's what enrages fans. While she bricked shot after shot, the refs and her teammates carried the load. Jackie Young dropped 25, Chelsea Gray added 15, and others chipped in. The refs stitched together enough cushion to keep Indiana at bay. But the media? They spun Wilson's inefficiency as all-around impact. What they ignored was the truth. Aaliyah Boston shut her down. Wilson shot 30% because Boston executed elite defense. Yet instead of crediting Boston, narratives bent to protect Wilson.
2 as well.
Here's Hull. Working behind Boston. Boston was open. Great fake. And Boston lays it in.
And still, Wilson left her mark, not with greatness, but with dirty play. Watch closely. Elbows under the rim, undercuts during box outs, arms flailing into Indiana players. Almost none of it punished. Then Becky Hammon had the nerve to complain post-game that Wilson only shot 1 free throw. The irony? Vegas has lived at the foul line all series. Indiana did their job. They bottled up Wilson. But the refs made sure Vegas never paid the price for her brickfest. That's not dominance. That's protection.
She got hit a lot tonight. To shoot 1 free throw in 38 minutes. I know they told me not to say anything, but I can't.
It wasn't just the losses that stung. It was the officiating circus stealing the spotlight. And that's why Stephanie White finally snapped. No sugarcoating. No diplomacy. In her post-game presser, she said what everyone's been screaming for months. The WNBA needs a full-scale investigation into officiating. Not a memo. Not a quiet apology. A public reckoning.
I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing.
Her frustration was written all over her face. White has battled as a player and a coach. But this was different. This wasn't basketball. This was her team being robbed. Hull sacrificing her body, Boston battling triple teams. Mitchell grinding through pressure, all denied the fair stage they earned. She said it clearly. This officiating isn't just inconsistent. It's compromising the integrity of the game. And she's right. Fans have watched Clark get hammered with no whistle. Boston called for phantom fouls. Hull punished for hustle. This series is the ugly climax of a problem that's been festering all season.
Here's Boston, back to Hull. Sets herself up. Mitchell is free, laying it in. Been a while since Mitchell has gotten a shot attempt. Mitchell will get one here. It's hit.
And White's demand goes beyond Indiana. It's about the league's future. Without Clark, without the Fever, without these new fans packing arenas and breaking TV records, the WNBA doesn't have this spotlight. Yet instead of protecting that growth, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert sits silent while refs hand lifelines to the champs. Fans know it. Social media knows it. Analysts know it. The only ones pretending otherwise sit in the league office, hoping the noise fades. But thanks to White, it won't. Her call isn't frustration, it's accountability. And if the league ignores it, the message to fans is clear. Fairness doesn't matter. Protecting chosen teams does. Bottom line, White just shine a light on the WNBA's dirtiest secret. If there's any justice in basketball, her word will spark the change this league desperately needs.